everybody. This is Mrs. Ashby. I'm the librarian at Shirleyheim Middle School. I'm going to tell you today about 3 books, all available on Sora, so you can check them out right now. All right, so since these books are available on Sora, I don't have the hard copies of the books with me, but this first one I'm going to tell you about is called Lost in the River of Grass. There it is. This book is an adventure. So a girl named Sarah has just started at a new school a couple of weeks before the book begins, and they're on a field trip to the Everglades. And if you're not familiar with the Everglades, it's over 1,000,000 square miles of national park. So it's huge. The group is supposed to go out for a ride. She doesn't want to hang out with these girls who are being mean to her, a bunch of mean girls. They're kind of a clique. So she goes out on a boat ride with this boy who she has met there who lives there. She and Andy go out, they have a picnic, and when it's time to come back, they find out that he did not put the plug in his boat. And if you have a boat, then you know that if you don't put the plug in, the boat sinks. So they are stuck. And they're about 10 miles away from where she is staying. Now, if you were at 10 miles from home here in Stafford, you would walk and walk and walk, and it would take you several hours, but you could get home before too long. In the Everglades, there's not really sidewalks. In fact, there aren't any. There's not even really land. It's a swamp. So walking is not that easy. You're going from a little bit of grass to another little bit of grass. That's about it. Also in the Everglades, there are alligators and crocodiles. There are lots of poisonous snakes. And in addition to the regular poisonous snakes that live there, there are anacondas and boas that people from Florida have let loose into the Everglades. These snakes don't normally live there, but they live there now and they get to be huge. Plus, Sarah and Andy didn't bring bug spray. They don't have any food. So getting home is going to be days and days if they can make it at all. When I started this book, I was a little skeptical. What's going to happen? How can this possibly be very exciting? They're just walking through the swamp. So there'll be an alligator, but what else could possibly happen? I was on the edge of my seat trying to figure out how they were going to get home because this book is so exciting with all of the danger and adventure that happens throughout it. Also, we have multiple unlimited copies of this book on Sora. So anybody who wants to read it, you can all read it at exactly the same time. That is Lost in the River of Grass by Ginny Rorby. All right, my second book that I'm going to talk to you about is See No Color. It's by Shannon Gibney. Here's the cover of it. So this is a book that we just got access to through Sora. And again, it can be checked out by as many people who want to at a time. So all of you can get it all at the same time, no limits. In See No Color, Alex is 16 years old. She is an amazing baseball player. She has had to play baseball most of her life because her dad was a professional baseball player, just kind of for a short while, not a big deal, but he made it onto a professional team. So Alex has played on her dad's team and she's played with boys all her life and she's been the best player on the team the whole time. She has just turned 16 and she knows some things are changing for her. First of all, she knows she's adopted because she is biracial and her parents are white. And they have always told her that her birth parents, who they knew somehow, that they didn't want to have anything to do with her. So she's been raised in this white family, not really any contact or any part of her ethnic heritage has been told to her at all. So she's turned 16, she's playing baseball, and things are changing for her as she's maturing and she's not as good at baseball as she used to be. She meets a boy on one of the other teams. He's African American, and the more time she spends with him, the more she finds out about that part of her ethnicity and her race and like how to do her hair and things that her parents never taught her. But even more shocking for her, her younger sister comes to her one day with a stack of letters, like this thick bunch of letters. And these are letters all from Alex's birth father. And he's been writing to her every month for her entire life. Now remember, her parents told her, her biological parents wanted nothing to do with her. And yet here is the stack of letters proving that her biological dad wanted to have contact with her, and her parents have somehow kept this from her. So she reaches out to him and begins to learn a lot more about her background and about her parents. And that is called See No Color by Shannon Gibney. Check it out now, everybody who wants to. So, you all know that really weird kid at school, the one who does all the things a little different from everybody else, the one who doesn't seem to mind if people think that he's a little bit weird. Well, that's Dwight. And Dwight is one of the main characters in this book, The Strange Case of Origami Yoda. Now, this is an older book, and some of you might have read it, but it's a great one if you haven't. So, Dwight folds an origami Yoda. And as I said, Dwight himself is weird and unusual and doesn't seem all that with it, kind of zoned out about things. But when people ask Origami Yoda questions, he gives them answers that come true. They seem to always be true. Like he predicts when there's going to be a pop quiz, and he's able to tell other things that it doesn't seem like Dwight would have the answers to. So, our other main character, Tommy, he's trying to do an investigation into whether Origami Yoda is real and has magical powers or not. He is skeptical, so he's recording everybody else's incidences of dealing with Origami Yoda and what advice he gave them and whether it came true or not. And it's all recorded in his journal. And it's important for Tommy to find out whether Origami Yoda knows things because he has a question he wants to ask. And the answer to that question is very important to his future happiness. Behind me, this is my cat Bootsy, who's walking around and helping out with this recording. So, if you like things like Wimpy Kid books, then Origami Yoda would probably be a good choice for you. It's got lots of illustrations, and it's funny, and it's a little mysterious about what's actually happening with Origami Yoda.